Wes Anderson's latest is The Phoenician Scheme, a comedic romp full of style and quirkiness, and while it's one of Wes's best works in recent years, it is, for the most part, just okay. Note before I get into things, I am not a Wes Anderson fan. The visuals and aesthetics of his films, as well as the cast he assembles, are fantastic. But for reasons that continue to elude me, the tone and vibe of his storytelling, jokes and humour just don't do much for me. The Phoenician Scheme is all about a wealthy businessman with some potentially shady deals and arrangements in his past. Assassins are continuously out to kill him, so he's now out to deliver all his possessions to an heir. As per usual, the cast is amazing. It's a who's who of notable names and faces, many of whom have worked with Wes Anderson before, some of whom are relegated to cameos and brief guest appearances. It makes for a film filled with fascinating characters, as each of them gets to portray quirky, odd individuals, and chunks of the film are often dedicated to each of them. The sets, costumes, framing and general visual style of the film are great as per usual too. It's shot in a classic 4:3 aspect ratio with practical sets that look good enough to be believable, but also not as good as you would expect, adding to the quirky humour and vibe of the film. There's an unusual classic but modern sense to the whole film, big budget but also small at the same time. It's odd, but it works. The jokes and the humour are more hit and miss. Wes has a very dry, deadpan approach to humour, something I appreciate, but not every joke delivers. There were very few laughs in my busy screening. As someone who isn't a fan of Wes's works, this is probably the most I've laughed in one of his films. The overarching story is an interesting one, and it feels relevant to modern events and people. The side narrative of the assassination attempts is fun, but sadly neither the main nor the side story go anywhere all that interesting, revealing or fun. The finale is a bit disappointing. In fact, the second half of the film as a whole is a bit of a bore. The pace keeps up, but the jokes and the energy start to meander. This is a film with a tone, vibe and style that outstays its welcome. It becomes old quickly. Wes Anderson's The Phoenician Scheme might be one of my favourite of his works. It's certainly better than some of his recent works. Visually, the film is imaginative and engrossing. The narrative is fun for the first half, and the characters and casting are fantastic. But the film lost me about halfway through and failed to capture my interest again.